Expect disappointment and you still get disappointed. This is my rational perspective on Chelsea 0 Liverpool 1, the Carabao Cup final. A miserable day at Wembley again, but that's kind of just to be expected at this point. And I can't say I'm overly surprised Chelsea didn't win that game, but it doesn't make the disappointment of the journey home any easier. Also, the way the game played out in a manner where Chelsea had a number of great quality opportunities before extra time. The way Liverpool were depleted and they had to rely on academy players, and the team folded in extra time and conceded in such a sloppy manner, similar to how they almost conceded the first goal from a set piece in normal time. It's hard to know how to come up with new analysis around this, because Chelsea fans, and I think it's difficult because this is a new group, right? This is the first time they've experienced, a lot of them, the majority of them, this is the first time a lot of them have experienced a cup final defeat. So I think it'd be hard for me to put the baggage on them, what has happened before. But as fans, it's very difficult to just block out what happened and has happened at Wembley the last few times, in the sense that Chelsea, in similar ways against Liverpool in a League Cup final like they did a couple of years ago, failed to take our opportunities and get punished in the end. Last time it was on penalties. This time it's right at the end of extra time. But on this occasion, again, it's hard to know how to analyse Chelsea and their shortcomings when we are so bad at finishing our chances. The level of incompetence from a technical point of view and decision making too. And this is not just like completely lifting any responsibility on the head coach, but I genuinely do think that there does come a point where, as a fan, and I'm sure as a coach, you scratch your head, because Chelsea got themselves, especially, as I say, in the last bit of that game, comical at times how Chelsea were given looks at goal and failed every time to convert. And this is the big issue, right? And I don't just think it's solved by one player, because signing Victor Osimhen doesn't mean that Osimhen's at the end of every chance, does it? And I think that there is a technical problem, a composure problem. But more and more, as I've analysed the game since full time, I think there is just a classic cultural and psychological problem here at Chelsea, in the sense that Liverpool, sure, were depleted, sure, were up against it, but there is a mentality and a spirit of unity and overcoming obstacles that group has done under Jurgen Klopp for a number of years. And you can feel it within the fans inside the ground as well. Chelsea are the complete opposite at the moment. We as fans don't have many examples over the past 2 years of us doing that, overcoming odds, really stepping up on a big occasion, winning a game, winning a trophy, and really proving ourselves to be capable of getting over the line. These are not things we associate with Chelsea, unfortunately, since I'd say the start of 2022, especially if you go from the Club World Cup win, our last silverware in February of 2022, because since then we've seen domestic cup finals at Wembley go against us. We've seen the league form deteriorate. We've seen managers come and go. And I know this is not me kind of going anywhere near what I was feeling, say, post-Wolves or post-Liverpool the last time. It's not a shambolic display in that sense, but it is embarrassing, and it is hard. It's very hard to take as a fan when you see the way the team collapsed in that way in extra time, when it was so close to penalties and some of the chances that went missing, and as I say, you struggle to know how to come up with new ways to analyse Chelsea. And I think my concern is whether Chelsea's, this is always my big concern, whether the people in charge at Chelsea have the know-how and the right frame of mind to make the decisions to try and rectify things that when things go wrong. Like, will they make the right decisions in the summer? Because again, we saw Chelsea's lack of experience when they were more experienced on the pitch, ironically, in that extra time. Show their heads again. I mean, do you put that all down to experience? Do you put some of that down to a lack of maybe unity within the group? Again, and leadership too. Like Virgil van Dijk stepped up for Liverpool today. Who's stepping up for Chelsea? There are players who in the team I have a lot of praise and confidence in. Petrovic made some big saves again today. I thought Disasi didn't have as good of a performance, but he had some big moments. I thought Moises Caicedo had a good game. I feel really sorry for Cole Palmer. He tried everything in his power to set up chances for Chelsea to win. I even thought Nicholas Jackson was a little hard done by to be taken off, to be honest. And of course, nearly set up an opener in the first half that was called offside. But unfortunately, there were many things in that performance that just irked me. The lack of technical competence in the final third, but also as the game went on. I don't think it was an amazing 90-minute performance, I have to say. I thought Chelsea were very lucky at times to be level terms for as long as they were. Our inability to play around Liverpool's press, giving the ball away cheaply in some really dangerous areas. The sloppy first touches, whether it was sloppy because of complacency or more so it was a case of nerves. I don't know what it was, but it didn't look good, and it looked like Chelsea at times were panicking and being overwhelmed by the situation. As I say, whether it was because Petrovic would make a save or Liverpool would make a bad decision in the final third, whatever it was, Chelsea were still in the game. And then you get into that last period when Conor Gallagher has a series of chances. The one that he has to be burying is the one that's set up by Cole Palmer. When you look back at it, Kelleher rushes out, and that's a mind game thing, right? That's like, I think a more composed player can take the ball round Kelleher there and maybe put it in the back of the net. That wasn't the case, and it felt like too many times a number of Chelsea players would get into those moments and we'd just panic and we'd swipe at a shot. There'd be no sense of, like, as I say, like broad shoulders, kind of like, no, this is the moment I'm here for, and I'm going to take the opportunity. There was none of that. So when you don't take your chances, when you don't punish the team you're playing, and then you give away cheap set pieces and you defend the way you did within minutes of penalties, you don't deserve to win cup finals. And that in itself is heartbreaking, right? Because I want to love this team. I always want to love my football team, and I want to love the players. And I think there's a lot of them that have done good things in recent weeks. That doesn't get completely forgotten tonight. You know, I'm not also of the belief that I just put it down to the coach, because, you know, again, if Conor Gallagher makes a better decision, I don't think we're having a conversation. And unfortunately, that's been too often a regular theme about Chelsea in recent years, is just our inability, and it's baffling, really. I don't know what the solution is, because I know some people will be screaming right now, you sign a striker, but as I say, the striker doesn't always get all the opportunities. And as we've seen in recent years, we bought some good players, and players who've scored goals in their career before come into Chelsea, and they then suddenly look a lot worse when they arrive at Chelsea. So that's also a concern of mine. I think it comes down to identity. I think it comes down to a sense of unity. I think it comes down to a sense of, can Chelsea as a group and as a club start to do things that surprise people, surprise fans, and make us happier and make us believe that we can overcome obstacles. I think it was so evident in that final 15 minutes. Who wanted it more? And unfortunately, especially in extra time when legs are tired and the mind can do silly things, that's what it comes down to. And it sickens me that Chelsea weren't the team that did that. Do you solely blame that on the mentality of the coach? Do you blame that on the mentality of the ownership? Do you blame that on individual mistakes? I think it's a combination of everything, right? And I struggle to sit here and go, well, you know, we can do this, we can do that, because when you get into cup finals, like we could again in the FA Cup, and you're unable to do very basic things like finish chances, I don't know how you win silverware. I really don't. And it looks like Chelsea get stage fright. So I don't know how you get around that. So that's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and I'll see you again very soon. All the best.